Bahamadia!
Hey, what's going on?
How are you?
All right. Thanks for having me.
Man, we're so thrilled to have you. As soon as we announced your name, we were getting hit up all over the place. People were just like, you have Bahamadia on the show? How did you get Bahamadia? Like, oh my God, Bahamadia. So, I mean, obviously there's a demand.
You know what it is? Because I've always been like under the radar, even though, with the artistry and everything like that for all these years, like probably almost 30 years now. And I'm just, just living my life. That's all. So people
Nothing wrong with that.
Pop up is always a curveball.
Yeah, I mean that you got to figure it out because you can do the least and still get like the attention there because you don't do a lot. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like you do the least, but like when you do emerge, people take notice. You know?
Right. It's strategic. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. So it's all about, making the right moves at the right time.
Absolutely. So how's your day been? I used to ask people how they're how they're doing in all this, and we're so immersed in it that like it seems too surface of a question. So I'm just going granular. How's your day been? What is a day in Bahamadia's life like today?
Well, today it was good. You know what I mean? With this perceived COVID thing and everything, the quarantine and all, you just taking it a day at a time. Me, I'm just pacing myself,
Yeah.
Today I did a little bit of admin stuff and then outlined some stuff for a few projects that I'm working on. And took it easy, showered, all this. It's just the day-to-day stuff. It's nothing deep.
Take notes, folks. She eats and showers just like the rest of us. Bahamadia. Well, yeah, totally. Well, we're really pleased and happy to have you. Like I said, we had a lot of fanfare when we announced your name. So again, just super grateful to have you here. And if you guys in the chat, if you have questions for Bahamadia, if we have time at the end of the show, we'll get into it. So drop them in the little question mark box. When we have time at the end of the game, we might get into that. So you know what it is. This is episode number 70. We've had some legends. We've had people, DJs, producers, MCs, writers, actors, comedians, so many people on the show. And all we're about on the questions is fanning out on some hip hop shit, sharing stories, and, maybe somebody learned something. Maybe somebody in the chat learned something about your career that they didn't know, or we uncover a little tidbit. So are you ready to get into this hip hop trivia game?
Yeah, I'm totally going into it blind too. It's just fun that way, right?
Absolutely. So I will say, and I like to tell the guests this, we have sort of two schools of thought with the guests who come on the show. Some people, when they don't know the answer, they look to the chat because sometimes our chat is very enthusiastic. And other people, they're like, I'm doing this by myself. I'm not leaning on the chat. So just know that you have it as an option. It is a lifeline if you feel like you're stuck.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's just fun. Just connecting people and having fun. It's not that deep. But
all
okay.
Right. Hey, I'm legally obligated to say that. It's contractually like I will get sued if I don't,
Okay.
It's a whole thing. You get it. All right, well, we're going to get into our first round. The first round is called The Choice is Yours. This is our general multiple choice round. So just basic multiple choice. We're going to get into it. Here we go. First question of the night is, at the beginning of Gang Starr's full clip, DJ Premier gives a rest in peace shout out to this rapper. Is it Notorious B.I.G., Big L, Tupac, or Jay Dilla?
Big L, rest in peace.
Big L, rest in peace. Rest in peace.
That is correct. She's in the game. We had to throw a Gang Starr question in there. As a lot of people who are familiar with your career are aware, Guru, played a pretty pivotal role early on in your career.
Yes, he did. He offered me an opportunity of a lifetime. I actually had a single out in '93, a regional hit called Funk Vibe on an independent label in Philly. That started to chart, you know what I mean, and like the Gab and all the different trade magazines back in the day. And then it garnered the attention of a few people, and Guru was in that bunch, you know what I mean? And I gravitated towards them because I was always a supporter of Gang Starr's music and stuff like that, I felt like that was their best fit. The rest is like just been a dream state,
Yeah, I mean, what were did you find when you first were interacting with him, because you guys collaborated a lot and there was a lot of like guidance there, did you ever get to a point where you felt more comfortable, or were you always just like, oh my God, it's Guru, it's Gangstar? like, did you feel like the fan, in those interactions?
Actually, no, I felt welcome. It felt like I intuitively, it felt like the right fit, and it was in real time. It just resonated. You know what I mean? Like it was like just like a cool brother, or cousin, or so like family member. Because it was interchangeable. The energy was, you know what I mean. Sometimes it's like a brother, sometimes it's like a cousin, sometimes like a friend, but always allowed me the flexibility to just voice my opinion. You know what I mean? I was 100% in support of my whole vision. You know, which I thought was like a standard practice, particularly for females in hip hop at that time, and it wasn't. You know, so I was afforded that liberty. Grateful. You
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you hear about so many stories about any new artist or emerging artist, let alone for women in an industry that has such a reputation of taking the message and distorting it and sort of like trying to guide it into different ways. So I mean, I imagine that must have felt very liberating. Maybe like you said, in hindsight, you were able to appreciate it even more at the time, and you sort of saw that that wasn't the case for a lot of other artists or
know? Right.
contemporaries you might have.
Exactly. And I didn't realize how powerful that position was, and being a trailblazer in that lane. You know what I mean? Like having an authentic piece of work with my voice, my imaging, everything, 100% myself, with no, in fact, some of the marketing strategy and stuff like that, at the time, I wasn't that educated about the components that make up, what an artist would be on that level. But I was bringing them the ideas and everything, and they supported it 100%. Guru was like the spokesperson for me in that aspect, and I just thought that was natural, like I said. And then I met Mecca from Diggable Planets, and she was the one that showed me about that I had control even over my cover art, even over like the title that I wanted to have my album be, all that kind of stuff. It was crazy,
That's incredible. Yeah,
yeah,
that's so
right off the rip.
right. So, I mean, prior to that, like, would you say that you had anybody else that was sort of like guiding you or setting an example for you, like immediately in your life, or were they really like the first to sort of give you that guidance in your career at that point?
Well, from a spiritual aspect, I would have to say the Most High God was navigating everything, and still does everything that I've ever done, I will ever do. But the people that the Spirit of the Lord to help me was, wow, my immediate circle of influence, my family. I had a supportive system, my mom, my sister. That's where it started, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna move on to the next question then. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We see you. We got Bahamadia in the house. Show you love. All right. Second question. Here we go. The title track to this artist's fourth album appeared in the 1990 Christopher Walken film King of New York. Is it Chub Rock, LL Cool J, Schoolie D, or Ice-T?
Oh, Schoolie D.
She says Schoolie D. Let's see if she's right, folks. Schoolie D is correct. Schoolie D is another, notable Philly product of the Philly hip hop scene. How what kind of circles did you feel any sort of like connection or inspiration from Schoolie D's music? Obviously, totally, sort of different lane. But what was his presence like in Philly in your time growing up?
Dominant. And he actually, when PSK broke, I actually heard it the night that it broke on, like Lady B broke it on her radio show back in the day. That was crazy. Just being an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? Starting his own label, doing his own cover art, like having total creative control, and being the business person behind the label and the music and the producer. Like I had never heard or saw that before. He was like one of the first people that I had saw that. So that was like a benchmark moment for me, you know what I mean? In terms of studying business models, you know what I mean? And just
Yeah.
being somebody in my own backyard can do it, I can do it too,
That's super inspiring when it's so relatable that it's not somebody who's, like, I feel like you read a lot about how cities outside of like New York or LA, they feel like sometimes undervalued, because they're not given the same precedence that these like, gatekeepers are. But, having there's so many people that have come out of Philly. Anytime I meet an artist or a musician who calls Philadelphia their home, I immediately, my radar goes up like they're probably very dope, you know, because there's something in the water there. Like, what do you think that is? Do you think it is like that underdog status maybe to New York that like kind of breeds that competition and that skill, or what do you think sort of drives that artistic flourishment?
But I mean, we just take the art seriously across the board, you know what I mean? And the standards been set so high historically till like a person that would be perceived as being mediocre in Philadelphia is like top of the class anywhere else. But I found in my travels and in my experience in the industry though that sometimes, because everybody has that same story. You travel globally, you travel around. Everybody locally or regionally will tell you the same story. I'm not supported at home. Sometimes the objective for the people that are to bust the gate open or a trailblazer situation, their support may not be in the immediate surroundings. It may be outside of that, and it may be that pushes you to get outside of your, get the message out, get the music out in different areas. Because I feel like that the objective is pushing the envelope.
And then once you get,
and if you can, huh?
Yeah, and I was gonna say, and then usually, typically, what you hear happens is that when they get, when you get love out of town, then you come back and then everybody's like, oh, we love you now, and it's like, yeah. Sometimes you got to prove it outside of the hometown, and then people will kind of flock to you.
Yeah.
It seems like it's frozen. Okay, there you are. I think you froze up for a second, but I think you're good now.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna move on to the next question. You hear me? Is it good?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, cool. Here we go. Next question. Question number 3. Which of these artists was not signed to Wild Pitch Records? Was it Main Source, Chill Rob G, Ultramagnetic MCs, or Leaders of the New School? Who was not at one point signed to Wild Pitch?
Leaders of the New School. And you know what? Oh, go ahead. Leaders of the New School.
All right, I feel like you're about to hop in there, but yes, you're correct. Leaders of the New School was not signed to Wild Pitch. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, Wild. Every time I see that logo, I want to be signed to Wild Pitch so bad. I wanted to be like my heart was nearly broke. Also, my girl, but I remember in Tice, she was doing like I think she might have been the first female that was signed to Wild Pitch back in the day. She had a single called Hush Hush Tip.
Yeah.
I did just because Gangstar was there. I just loved the logo, and I felt like all the music that they were putting out, they had some of my favorite artists there. You know how you get the credits, or you would look at the different releases and certain labels or imprint, their signature was quality. You know what I mean? So every artist that you love on that label, if you were up and coming, you wanted to be associated with that particular brand, So yeah.
Totally. It's the brand recognition. You would just see that logo, whatever the label is for you. For some people it was Def Jam. For some people, it was Wild Pitch, Loud Records, like it's just that emblem that gets you excited. It's like, yo, I'm all in, no matter what it is. But
exactly.
Yeah. All right, cool. We're gonna move into our last question of our first round. A little more modern here. In 2003, this rapper producer appeared alongside Madonna in a commercial ad campaign for Gap jeans. Was it Puff Daddy, Q-Tip, Missy Elliott, or Alchemist?
It was.
She says Missy Elliott. Let's see who it is. Missy Elliott is correct. All right, we're gonna move on to our second round. You aced the first round, so flawless scores thus far. Second round is called PICASSO, baby.
Okay.
So in this round, I'm going to show you a small piece of an album cover, and you have to tell me what the album is by the little piece of it that you see. So we tested your
Okay.
general knowledge. Now we're testing your eyes. So here we go. First album cover. Is this De La Soul's Balloon Mind State? Is it Diggable Planets, Blowout Comb, PM Dawn, the Bliss album, or is it Chance the Rapper, Coloring Book?
I'm gonna go with Chance the Rapper.
Going Chance the Rapper. Let's see if she is right, folks. It was De La Soul, Balloon's Mind
Oh
State.
man.
Ah.
Oh.
Listen, it happens. You know, we had to pull out some of the big guns for Bahamadia because we know that we're dealing with somebody who knows a thing or two. But while we're on the De La topic, what is your favorite De La Soul album? What would you say is your personal favorite?
I don't have a personal favorite, but Plug Tuning is one of the most influential records in my career in terms of styling and flow. You know, well, mindset really.
Just because they were being so sort of, they kind of like, they did their own thing. Like nobody was really rapping in that cadence at that point when that song came out, right?
No, they weren't, and just them being fearless enough to be themselves as always. They were always themselves, and just like I said, that's pushing the envelope forward. Like I just gravitate towards that kind of art. So, yeah. That was like, but I don't have. I love. They're all personal to me. They remind me of different time periods in my life. So I don't have a favorite when it comes down to certain groups.
That's totally fair. Can't be mad at that. All right, we're gonna move on to the next question. What album cover is this? Is it Tough Crew, Danger Zone, Schoolie D, Smoke Some Kill, 3 Times Dope live from Act Nicholas Land, or is it Cash Money and Marvelous, Where's the Party At? We had to dig into Philly on this one.
I think that's 3 Times Dope.
She says it's 3 Times Dope. Don't call it a comeback, folks. She's been here for years. That is 3 Times Dope. You are correct. Another Philly group. Another
Philadelphia.
I have a question that I have for you as somebody who are you still live in Philadelphia, right? Are you still there?
Off and on, yeah, I'm here.
Off and on. Is there anybody from Philly that you think that people should either know more about, or you feel like maybe they haven't yet gotten their just due? Are there artists in Philly that you think, from being on the ground level, that deserve to get a shout?
Yeah, Aside, Core, Tierra Whack. Oh my God, there's so many different people. You know what I mean? But those are the people that on my radar that come to mind. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, and I noticed, that's a smattering of different artists. Tierra Whack is obviously like way newer. How tapped in, and are you really checking for newer artists at this point? Because you've been in the game for quite some time. A lot of people, reach a certain point and they're like, yeah, I like what I like. I'm not really like looking for new stuff. So how much are you on the look for like new and current artists who are practicing hip hop today? Like, is that a priority for you?
Well, I mean, I'm a part of the movement, so it's like, I am hip hop. Like any of us that's a part of the movement, and we're authentic hip hoppers. We realize that we know that we are hip hop. So that's just an extension of yourself. It's just like we're evolving to, and I think it's about musical taste and about mood and placement and timing too. You know what I mean? Like certain things that I might listen to, people might be surprised that I might listen to a little bit of like Little Uzi Vert or somebody, or like Little Skies or somebody. You know what I mean? That might be me driving in my car. Then if I happen to go to a mixer or some type of social event or whatever, it might be another style of artist that I might, gravitate towards because of the setting, and it just, reflects the mood that I'm in. You know what I mean? And but my own personal things where I get inspiration from and stuff like that, that's totally different as well. So it varies. I just feel like everything has its place and time. And if we're talking about authentic hip hop, traditional hip hop, then I'm gravitating towards the more progressive styles of hip hop. But if
Yeah,
you're talking
absolutely.
about the commercialization of it, then it's whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to move on to the third question in this round. What album is this? Is it Hezekiah, I Predict a Riot, Slum Village, Trinity, J Live, Then What Happened, or is it Rhyme Fest, Blue Collar?
That's actually SV.
Say it again.
Slum Village.
She's going Slum Village. Slum Village is correct. You worked with SV on your second project, the BB Queen EP. What was that experience like?
Actually, we were under the same management at the time, Timotheus Entertainment, and I've known JD for years, like prior to, you know what I mean, all the big hoopla, you know what I mean, the breakthroughs and all that kind of stuff. Just traveling back and forth. DJ Dez and Proof were like my go-to people in the market when Collage first broke. Like this one, Maurice Malone and all those, that brand was popping. They would take me around. You know how like when you went to when you promoted your album back in the day, you may know, they would take the artists around to the different regions in Chicago, Detroit, wherever you were traveling to your promotional tours, and they were my tour guides. So I knew them. I met JD at St. Andrews a long time ago. House Shoes, everybody. Wow, that just brings back so many different memories. The tapes. Shout out to QD too. That's JD's cousin for people that might not know. He's also an awesome artist. Yeah, we toured together, created together, and he was actually supposed to do my my second album, which was going to be the full length after BB Queen, but then he passed.
Right.
You know.
So. I considered myself like a J Dilla completist, but I only recently heard, somewhat recently, there was a remix that he did to the 114 joint. It was like a different one. Yeah, and I was like, how have I never heard this before? And that was super dope.
When I'm singing on the hook, that was actually a hidden track, because that was one of the tracks that we were going to use, and then we opted to use it as a remix, and then he started to send me beats. Like I still have the CDs in storage. I've never like leaked them, never used them out of respect for his legacy, Miss Yancey and everybody. Like I would never do that. Remember that phase where everybody was taking like his old beats and stuff like that, making albums off from like unofficial releases like this. I thought that was so tasteless to try to exploit his legacy that way, you know.
Pretty corny. Pretty corny.
Yeah, so but yeah. I mean I'm tied to a lot of different people though, like and have paid forward into a lot of different artists careers and stuff like that. I'm just on the low. I think I probably should start taking more control of my narrative though, you know?
In what way? Like how do you mean?
I mean like actually telling my story. I feel like who I am as an artist, as a person, like I feel like from a professional standpoint, has never been articulated correctly or thoroughly.
I can see that for sure. I mean, I think that those who are very much tapped in and are willing to look for it, the information is there. But yeah, totally. Like, well, I mean, that's why we're having you on the show. Like, we want to tell your story. So I mean,
I appreciate it. So dope.
Absolutely, yeah. And shout out to House Shoes. We had House Shoes on the show pretty early on, and we got a few. We had Frank Knit a couple of weeks ago as well. So we've definitely had a lot of the people in that circle, and just great people for sure. Optic says an official Bahamadia Dilla project would be amazing. I don't disagree, but again, it's about orchestrating that the correct way. I mean,
yeah,
for sure. All right, we're going to move on to our third round. We tested your general knowledge. We tested your eyes. Now we're testing your ears. The round is called Digging in the Crates.
Okay.
So this round is all about samples. So I'm going to ask you a question and play you a sample, and you have to answer the question about what you hear. So here we go. First question is, Chris Barber's jazz band's 1959 cover of Petite Fleur, pardon my French accent or lack thereof, that song was interpolated nearly 40 years later on a song that was produced by this producer. So I am going to play you the sample. You tell me who interpolated this sample. Here we go. Was it Timbaland, Dr. Dre, DJ Premier, or Large Professor?
Premier.
She says Premier. Let's see if she's correct. It was Dr. Dre, Phone Tap. Ah. It gets tricky, but this is an interesting question for you. He sampled it on a song called Phone Tap by The Firm. You, and I'd love to hear more about this from you. You produced your last two projects on a phone. Is that correct?
Yep. Dialed up.
Dialed up. So tell us about the dialed up projects. Like, what is that all about? And like, you really produced all the beats on a phone.
Yeah. It's just using a series of apps, and one app in particular. I don't really want to plug it. I'll tell you off the live. I was trying to get an endorsement deal from them, and it didn't work out. You know.
All right. Well, what was that experience? Without getting into the details, like, did you sort of like present that to yourself as a challenge? Was it challenging to you, or did you just sort of feel like it just makes sense in the 21st century to be doing things on phones?
It was a natural progression. It's like the objective, like each time is for me is to integrate, tools and stuff that's going to be more, that's going to make my workflow more easy and more productive. You know what I'm saying? Consistently. So that's just what it was. You know what I mean? It started out as me doing like sketches and ideas on the phone. That turned into a stockpile of beats. And then I said, well, let me lay some vocals on top of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just evolved into that. You know what I mean? And the studio where I was working out at one time in South Philly, the engineer at the time, he was like, yo, it would be cool. You should put it together. You should put like, string it together like songs and see what happens. You know what I mean? I was already on that wave because I had the stockpile, like I said, and I was already drafting the vocals and stuff. So
yeah.
And it became what it was. I had one of my graphic designer put the visual together and put it out there. And I didn't realize that's another trailblazing moment because mobile production is still relatively new. I mean, a lot of people do it probably now on the iPads and stuff like that, but rarely on the phone. The actual phone.
Yeah, I want to say that Madlib said on the last Freddie Gibbs album that he did all those beats on an iPad, which made, all the purists like tear their hair out. They were just like, what? Like, but, it doesn't matter what tools you use. It's just about the vision and the skills that you're bringing to it. So if you guys haven't checked it out already, definitely, they're on your Bandcamp, correct?
Yeah, they're on my Bandcamp and my YouTube, and I do have to say though that I have been doing it like probably several years before Madlib. You know what I mean? Shout out to Madlib though. He's an amazing producer. But I do have to say that because there are a lot of women out here that are making strides and pushing the envelope forward, and we rarely get the accolade, the acknowledgement that our counterparts are getting. You know what I mean? I feel like if I were a male, then it would have been a big to-do for Dial Up to get just as much recognition from the fans had they been more aware of it, based just simply on my gender,
Absolutely.
Everybody moving the culture forward. We have to acknowledge the whole spectrum of what we do as hip-hoppers and producers.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yep. Shout out to all the women out there holding it down.
Yeah, we have a lot of women, who support the questions. We've had a lot of women on the show. And we are committed to continuing to, showcase and provide a platform for all, everybody. We're it's all about inclusivity and about honoring the people who have actually, we're all about that. So get that dialed up and recognize that Bahamadia was doing it before Madlib. No disrespect to Madlib,
but me and Madlib can collab. I'm still sitting on a couple of him and Ono CDs as well. Like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. I got beats from everybody.
Well,
I do. I'm just sitting on shit, like songs, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just sitting on them. And now that I'm a DIY artist, like the challenge for me has been, me not being as visible as I used to be back when I was in the corporate card, is that I'm handling everything myself. You know what I mean? So having to sort out all those things from even that time period. That's like how long ago was that? And I'm still, like, my impact is still resonating. Like, I still see my influence, you know what I mean? So I know it's just a matter of streamlining all this stuff and now knowing how to communicate in this virtual realm, you know what I mean, more consistently. That's what it's about for me,
Yeah, no, and it gets tricky too to juggle all the things when you are doing it DIY. Trust me, nobody knows more than we know in putting together this show. I like, graphic designer, video editor,
Right.
putting the music together, writing things, it's just like, it's a lot to juggle. So, but I think what is dope about the internet now is that, you are able to directly connect and you can put a project out and, the distribution is just putting it to Bandcamp. Obviously, I know that there's more steps involved, and you want it to get on people's radars, so you're not just throwing it out into the abyss. But it's certainly it seems like a renaissance for a lot of indie artists who can skip a lot of the hoops and the red tape and what have you.
Right. And one thing about being Vanguard, like, or being like an originator, like I'm an authentic voice, like I'm not an echo. So the things that you put out when you're authentic and you're just prolific. I mean, Nipsey Hussle, I feel like, said it best. Like, when you're a prolific artist, like the work that you put out it supersedes time. So it's just like these people are now. It's just about the awareness for somebody like me, because I've never
Yeah,
stopped working. I've never, I've never stopped creating. I've never stopped being myself. You know what I mean? And I think that's the most unique part about who I and who Bahamadia is. If you want to perceive me as a brand, is that I've always been myself, and I've always been one to inspire others to be more of who they were created to be, and not an imitation of somebody else's, you know what I mean, efforts. So that's my thing,
absolutely.
you know what I mean, and it's just and even if this is the first. Like, there's never been like a live. I see this turning into like a whole show, like some type of, I don't know. This is going to expand. I know, because this is an extension of the energy that I possess myself. And that's one thing I do love about the internet. Like you said earlier, like you cut all the fluff out, you cut the middle people out, and you directly connect with the people that resonate with you. This is not forced. It's
Right.
either we're going to rock or we're not. And that's just the way I do everything. So
Exactly.
congratulations on your endeavors as well. It's dope. This is
Thank
really
you
dope.
so much. I mean, that means so much coming from you, and your credentials and your bona fides speak for themselves. So, we're getting all emotional here on the questions
Me
tonight.
too. We need to impart that encouragement and acknowledgement and appreciation to one another as entrepreneurs and forerunners of this thing. Like, it's hard. I don't pretend. I'm not pretentious. It's all about the experiences that I have. You know what I mean? And sometimes people say, "Oh, it's for no, it's not fine." Sometimes it's hard as hell juggling all these things. But the passion is what drives you. And the thing that drives us, it's a thing bigger than ourselves. Everybody's watching. You know how many lurkers we have on our accounts.
Right.
Some of those people aren't there because they're being derogatory. They're speculating they want to see, they gravitate towards something that's real, that they sense is the right direction. You know what I mean? And so that's what I know. So just be encouraged, you know what I mean? Everybody out here, you know what I mean? Shout out to
Yeah.
Planet Law. Shout out to Step Tatas. I just saw them pop up in there.
Yep. All right. We're gonna move on to our next question, but what a great moment, and thank you again so much for the encouragement. Here we go. Flight 2's Face to Face was interpolated for this song on Erykah Badu's Worldwide Underground. So I'm gonna play you the Flight song, Face to Face. You tell me what Erykah Badu song on Worldwide Underground interpolated it. Here we go. Was it Danger, Think Twice, Back in the Day, or I Want You?
I'm gonna go with Back in the Day.
Back in the Day is correct. This was a project that this was a pretty prominent project that you popped up on for The Love of My Life. It was like, what was that experience like? That's not the first time that you've been called upon by other artists. Some are your contemporaries, some are your contemporaries and are bigger than you. I've heard you on Mr. Lift Records. Like, what does it take to sort of like spark the interest for Bahamadia to want to hop on a song?
Like it's not that the artists are bigger than me, because these artists, Erykah Badu, these people, the Roots, these are my creative peers. It's just that,
Yes.
again, I haven't been a part of the system of networking and the political aspects of keeping myself visible in those loops,
because I have a life outside of the music. This is what I do. This is not who I am. You know what I mean? So I have a life. I have children. You know, I have a family. I have other interests besides just being a professional artist. And I'm not a politician. A lot of the times you have to be a person that you know, another side that that doesn't resonate well with me being true to myself a lot of the time. You know, just no disrespect to anybody that plays their political card or, you know, the networking thing or whatever, you know, but to me, it's always about an organic approach, and either I feel it or I don't. But because I'm a fan of the music as well, I'm still a student of the industry in terms of the industry of MCing. You know what I mean? The artistry of MCing. You know what I mean? And so you might see me on the Mr. Lift. You might see me on, I don't know, everywhere. You know, wherever I feel like I can add a perspective that's valid and that's true, you know? That's just
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm all over the place, and then I'm not anywhere at the same time.
She's all over the spectrum.
Spontaneity. I mean, I said it on my first album. That's really who I am. I'm an innovator. I'm spontaneous, you know.
Well, you could not have provided a better segue for our next question, because this relates to another quote from your first album. You talk about this on the song on You Know How We Do. There was a certain break that was, you know, if you were digging in the crates, this was the break. So which artist did not sample, scratch, or use Cerrone's Rocket in the Pocket live? Was it? I'll play you the sample in question. I know you know this break, but here we go, just so the people watching get some more context. Who did not use that? Was it MC Lyte, LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, or Eric B. and Rakim? Shout out to Cosmo Baker in the chat.
Cosmo, what's up, Cosmo? I'm gonna go with LL Cool J.
Okay, she's going LL. So we're gonna do a little journey here. We're gonna go through and listen to everybody who has used this. So we've got MC Lyte. We've got Beasties. It's the moment of truth, Bahamadia. LL Cool J used it on the scratch.
Oh, man.
Eric B. and Rakim did not. Listen, we don't judge you, Bahamadia. It's all good. You know, there's a lot of things going on, a lot of pressure here.
Wait a minute, wait. What the clap the hands to what he's doing. I came in the door. That's not on there. That's not Cerrone.
No, that's the mountain. The clap your hands to what he's doing. Is that what you're talking about?
You sure that wasn't layered? You sure that's not layered in there?
Hey, I'm gonna have to call on Steve Wonder in the chat, because he was responsible for some of these stumpers.
Yeah,
so Steve,
call on him, because I'm positive that was in there.
Steve, get on your
in
Googles.
The beginning parts.
Get on your Google, Steve. This might. I'm never gonna tell Bahamadia that she's wrong. So like we need to vet this.
If I am, you ought to.
Well, so the clap your hands to what he's doing is the Mountain Long Red. But you're saying that you think it was layered underneath it, is what you're saying.
I think I heard remnants of it.
Steve, I mean, help me out here. You know, I'm trying to do a bunch right now, but let's. I want to honor her dispute here, because that is not the information that we have. But
they laughing.
Now you got me sweating, Bahamadia. This is the worst, right? But I feel like, you know, I'm like I feel unsure about what I'm telling. You know, a hip hop legend. Steve's got me all fucked up here. All right, we're gonna look into this. We're gonna see what it is. Optics. It was okay. Eric B. and Rakim doing. You said it was I came in the door. I came in. Yeah.
I came in the door. I said it before. I never let the mic magnetize me no more. But this bite me, fight me, excite me to ride. That joint. If I'm not mistaken, clap your hands to what he's doing. If I'm not mistaken, when it's on, that intro is that break.
All right, we're gonna look into this. Steve, I see you doing a lot of emojis in the chat, but we need to actually get the answer to this.
Yeah, check on that, Steve. Let me know.
Check
so
on that, Steve, because I want to get it right before we end the game. But we're gonna move on to our our final round, and the final round is called Time's Up. So let me tell you what happens in this round. I'm gonna give you 90 seconds.
Okay.
And I'm Googling while I do this, Bahamadia, because I want you to know that your concerns are valid to me here. So you're going to have 90 seconds to answer 5 questions in the category of your choice. Okay. So these are tonight's categories. You get to pick which category it is. Songs that tell a story, 3 the Hard Way, hip-hop trios, or the D'Angelo hip-hop connection. You will have 90 seconds to answer 5 non-multiple choice questions in the round of your choice. So you got to tell me which category you want to go for.
Songs that. Can you hear?
You're going songs that tell a story? Yes,
yeah.
Now I can. So you're saying songs that tell a story is what you're going for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let me go over the rules here for you one more time. You're going to have 90 seconds to answer 5 questions in the category. They get harder. If you don't know the answer, you can say pass. And if you get the question wrong, then you can't answer it again. Like once you answer once, it's done. So I have OC's time's up here, and it is time to 90 seconds. So when we stop hearing OC, your time is up. So are you ready to do this?
Okay, tell me one more time. I'm just answering the question.
You're just answering the questions. I'm just turning it into more than what it is, but you know, it's 90 seconds, and your category is songs that tell a story. So let me pull it up here. Bahamadia.
Okay.
90 seconds on the clock. Right. Songs that tell a story. Cheer on, folks. If you guys know the answer, help her out. Here we go. EPMD featured a series of songs about a woman. What was her name?
Oh, man. I can't remember the girl's name.
All right, we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Okay, in Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day, what team did the Lakers beat?
I can't remember it.
Okay, we're going to go back to that. Guys, help her out.
Jane was the EPMD one.
Jane was. All right, we're giving it that for Jane. Okay. What happens to Slick Rick's character at the end of the song, The Moment I Feared?
Oh, I can't remember.
All right, we're going to go back to that. Before Nas rapped from the perspective of a gun, this New York duo rapped from the perspective of bullets on their song Stray Bullet. Who rapped as bullets?
Was it Organized Confusion?
Organized Confusion is correct, yes. Okay, this 1992 storytelling song, You Saw My Blinker, marks one of the only times this rapper has ever cursed on a record. A rapper who has only cursed once, and it was on a song called You Saw My Blinker.
Will Smith.
That is correct. All right, we're going to go back to some of the ones that we skipped. What team did the Lakers beat in Today Was a Good Day by Ice Cube?
I can't remember.
All right, we're going to skip. What happened to Slick Rick's character at the end of The Moment I Feared?
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay, our time is up. We'll go over what you missed here.
I listen to these songs. Look, I listen to these songs for like 40 years or something. I don't even know. I'm exaggerating.
Well, listen, Bahamadia, you should know before you come on the show, you have to listen to every hip hop song that's been put out in the last 40 years.
Oh my God, that was too overwhelming. That's why I said, let me just wing it. It's gonna be fun.
All right. Well, look, listen. I want you to walk away with the information that you might have forgotten today. So let's go over it. Yes, you got this right. EPMD did a series of songs about Jane. Jane was the answer. You got that one right. And Today Was a Good Day. The Lakers beat the Supersonics. That was his line. At the end of The Moment I Feared, Slick Rick goes to jail and his character gets raped in jail. That's the end of The Moment I Feared. Organized Confusion rapped from the perspective of a bullet in Stray Bullet. You got that right. And then yes, Will Smith cursed. He has a song called You Saw My Blinker, and he says the B word. I don't even want to say it. And that was like the only time that Will Smith ever cursed. incredible.
Right, 'cause he kept it clean all the time.
He kept it very clean. So I'm going to total your score here. No matter what, I want you to know, Bahamadia, you are a champion in our eyes.
No, this is fun. This is fun. I
We
don't
appreciate
mind I don't even mind my imperfections being showcased. You know what I mean? I'm human.
If they are imperfections, they are beautiful imperfections, Bahamadia.
Thank you.
So we have one question. I'm going to total your score here, but my question to you is: now that you've been on the show, is there anybody that you would nominate that you think that would do a great job on the show, and that that people would love to see on a show like this? Do you have a nomination of somebody? It could be an artist. It could be somebody not an artist. Like who would you want to see on the show?
Black Thought.
Black Thought. Woo! We've been trying to get him. We got Questlove. We've gotten a few people in the circle. Black Thought would kill it.
Or Pete Rock. Pete Rock with Black Thought.
Pete Rock would be crazy too. All right, guys, if you have questions for Bahamadia, drop them in the little question box. Do you have some time to take some questions from the audience?
Yeah, for a few minutes, yup.
For a few minutes. I just want to let you know, before we get into that, you got 10 out of 15 right. Let me tell you who you are in the 10 club with. It's a pretty great company. These are former guests who have scored the score that you got on this show. We got Kid from Kid and Play. We have Master Ace, journalist Jerry Barrow. We have DJ Sour Milk out here in LA. Stro Elliott from The Roots. I mean, the 10 Club is a good place to be, Bahamadia. I don't want you to beat yourself up over these imperfections. I'm just making sure you know.
I'm really not. I'm really not. This is dope to me. Go ahead.
We appreciate that. Okay, we have a couple questions. Tra Lamont asks, what is your favorite collab to date that you've done? Is there a collab that you've done that sticks out as a favorite? It doesn't have to be the favorite.
Respect the Architect with Guru and Herbie Hancock.
She casually says, she's like, oh yeah, that time I did a song with Guru and Herbie Hancock. Like,
it was awesome.
Yeah.
No, to top it off, to do the live rendition with Bernard Purdy on drums was just, you could put me in a coffin at any time. Seriously.
All right, now, guys, now she's just compensating because she doesn't like that she got questions wrong. Now she's like, I might have gotten some questions wrong, but how many people here have done a song with Herbie Hancock and Bernard Purdy? Wow. Listen, I don't want to hold you too long. We appreciate you so much. Anything you want to shout out to the people, anything that we could look for from you, just let us know what how we can support and what you have coming up.
Yeah, you can check all my stuff on bgirlrecordsllc.com, at Queen Bahamadia on Instagram, and subscribe to my YouTube because I want to get the numbers up so I can start providing the content and stuff like that, And I'm working on 2 cool projects, which I want to tell you so bad, but I can't because Roman eyes.
When in Rome.
I mean, Roman, exactly. When in Rome.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
When they do come out, we will be a megaphone for them. Maybe we'll have you back on the show. We would love to have you back in some capacity.
Anytime. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Bahamadia, be well, be safe, keep doing it, and thank you so much for everything. We appreciate you.
You too. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
All
Guys, peace.